Please contact Andy at 704-252-1886 for more information. Thank you so much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello. Welcome. Yes, I'm here. I promise I'm here. It's the Scoreboard. Man, do we have a lot of things to talk about today. First of all, you're listening to the Scoreboard. 844-STUDIO-4 is the phone number. That's 844-788-3464. I'm a little out of breath. Running around as the previous show ended. Now my show is beginning, and I'm a little tired, not going to lie. Running around a little bit, trying to get everything set up and whatnot here in the studio. But it is me. I am here, and for the next, let's call it 52 and a half minutes or so, you're going to have to deal with my voice here on the WSIC airwaves. The Olympics are over. The Olympics are officially over. The United States owning the medal count when it comes to overall medals and tying China when it comes to gold medals. And it wasn't even close. When you look at the medal count this year, the U.S. had 126, China with 91. The next closest country in terms of total medals was Great Britain at 65 and France at 64. The U.S. and China both had 40 gold medals. The next closest gold medal country was Japan with 20. So a dominant summer performance by both the U.S. and China. Over the weekend, we had a lot of gold medal basketball being played. The gold medal men's game being played on Saturday. The women's game on Sunday. Neither one of them disappointed. As, man, we're going to talk about the men's game. I got a little bit of things that I got to get off my plate here about what to expect in the future with men's basketball, the Olympics, the world stage, things like that. We also had a NASCAR race on Sunday. Yeah, for the first time in a couple of weeks, the NASCAR Cup Series was back in action, and oh boy. If NASCAR was hoping to ease their way back into things and not have any controversy about the way people race, well, they chose the wrong week for that. The driver 32nd in points. 32nd in points. Austin Dillon gets the win at Richmond, and it jumped him up to 26th in points, but that's not really the concern here. It's how he won. As I sneeze here in the studio. It was an interesting race. You know, we had the prime tires and the soft tire for the first time in a Cup Series points-paying race. You had the ability to put a different tire compound on, which we hadn't seen before. We did see it at North Wilkesboro during the All-Star race this year, and it really wasn't what we thought it would be. You know, the prime tire was a little slower. The soft tire really didn't wear off. Everybody was on soft tires at the end. It was an interesting race for that perspective, but when we get to Richmond, there were some monkey wrenches thrown in the system. Daniel Suarez really kind of starting the change of, yeah, we're not going to just ride around on the prime tire. We're going to do something about this. Michael McDowell also putting on the soft compound tire when it was least expected, or at least when most of the field did not put on that compound tire. But that is not where the conversation with the NASCAR Cup Series lies. It lies with that overtime finish. Austin Dillon, Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, all three of those names involved in the mad dash to the checkered flag. We're going to get into that a little bit. We also have a caller here into the studio, so let's go ahead and bring them on the air. Good afternoon, caller. How are you today? You're on the scoreboard.
Doing great there, Mr. Joe Berg.
Hey.
I told you not to worry about the Olympics there.
Don't worry. Yeah. Hold on. Don't worry. Weren't they down 17 to Serbia? I was worried.
Yeah.
But they got it done.
They got it done. So, LeBron manned up there and played some good D on Mr. Joker and got him to pull through. Curry got hot, made some big shots, and they got it all done.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, that was the next to last game and the final game, the gold medal game. Those were two of the best basketball games that I've watched in a while.
Still there?
I think my microphone cut out on me. Are you there?
Yeah. All of a sudden it went dead. I thought, they must have dropped my call.
That was interesting. My microphone just shut off on me.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's okay. We're back.
Bills.
We're back. But yeah, so what do you think about this year's team? I'm curious. This year's team versus what's going to happen in 2028, because that's where the conversation is now.
Yeah. Obviously, we're going to lose all those older guys that kind of the veterans that stepped up and kind of pulled them through there at the end. So, it's going to be some of these newer guys there is going to have to man up, and, they'll have, I guess, another 3 or 4 years experience, and then there'll be some new guys that are just coming into the league that'll probably we're not even thinking of yet that'll be obviously involved in that. I mean, I think they'll still be, have some good competitive teams, but obviously we know it's not going to be like the old days, kind of like we were talking the other day. The 92 team, definitely I think would have dominated, this year's team, and, it wouldn't have been like the blowouts like we had before because it's so competitive with all the NBA international players. But, yeah, I think it'll still be good, and, just glad to see the USA did well and got all the total medals and tied for gold and all that good stuff.
Yeah, it was really cool to see. And I was looking at that medal count as we were getting into Saturday and Sunday and saying, you know what, we really kind of have to win the gold medal in both basketball finals if we really want a chance at being top of the leaderboard in golds. And, we might not have been on our own at the top of the leaderboard, but nonetheless, they got it done, and U.S. is on top.
Right. Oh, yeah, definitely. And the ladies team, pulled it out. They were obviously both men and women are playing the France team, and they were able to make it happen. And so just proud of all the athletes and just all the talent that they had to get it done.
Absolutely. Well, hey, I appreciate you calling in today. We're coming up on a commercial break here, so I'm going to have to let you go. But I always appreciate hearing from you.
Yeah, Joe, take care, buddy. Have a good one.
Absolutely. You as well. Have a good one. Good to hear from the Tar Heel man again, as he always calls in about those basketball things. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to our first commercial break of the day. Don't go anywhere. We have a lot to talk about. We're back right after this. man, did you see my text? The bullpen mic is off. It just shut off on me. It just went dead. I got no power coming to it. Mid-sentence. Board off and turn it on. Oh my goodness. I literally ran into the studio, turned on one of the mics mid-call. I was like, uh-oh. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. Back here on the scoreboard. Okay. I just got to let everybody know kind of what's going on here. For the first time ever, we are having some issues technically while I am on air. This has not happened before, but my microphone, it went dead on me. And I'm still out of breath, if you can't tell. I was running around quite a bit. As the end of the last show happened, my show begins, then the mic shuts off on me. So right now, if you're listening on the radio, maybe it doesn't sound all that much different to you, but if you're watching our video stream, I am sitting in studio right now, and all I've been able to do is turn my microphone on and come in here and say, all right, we'll try to do the show. I have no idea when we're going to commercial. I mean, I kind of have an idea. I have a clock here in front of me. But oh boy, this is going to be fun. So let's just chat for a little bit here. Why not, right? Things go wrong. We move on. We keep the show going. Show must go on. Or I guess, isn't the saying like the show must go wrong or something like that? I don't know. 844-STUDIO-4. If you want to call into the studio, you absolutely can still, because I have another phone line next to me. What an interesting show this has been. It is a Monday, ladies and gentlemen. If you can't tell, today is definitely a Monday. Whew. Yeah, yes it is. All right, we were talking Olympic basketball on the other side of the commercial break, and I want to continue the conversation with the Olympic basketball team, the men's team to be more specific, because I watched the entire game. I was home all day, got to watch that game, which was wonderful. Vintage, and I mean vintage, Stephen Curry is what we saw on Saturday. He scored, I believe, 12 of the last 14 points for the United States from my count, if that was correct. And it was from three. I mean, you know Steph Curry, he's going to shoot the three. A couple of them, he made a good move to get some space, set his feet, knocked it down. Man, the final one, he hit the dagger, and they said it on air, on the broadcast before it happened. Does Curry have a dagger in him? Double coverage, falling away with seconds on the clock. I mean, I think there was 4 seconds on the shot clock when he let go of the ball. Falling backwards, 2 people on him, a prayer, chucks up a prayer, and knocks it in. I lost my mind at that point. I was already going crazy watching Steph Curry hit 3 after 3 after 3, and almost single-handedly in the fourth quarter get Team USA the gold medal. When he hit that final one, I'm not even going to lie. There was a couple of tears rolling down my face. Like, it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in sports. It was poetic. It was everything you wanted in a gold medal game. And the United States comes away with the gold. Now, here's what you need to keep in mind. It's all great. Let's celebrate. But I do have to put a little bit of a damper on your celebration. LeBron James, 39 years old. Steph Curry, 36 years old. Kevin Durant, well, he's not all that young either. Kevin Durant, 35 years old. The big three, as they were in the Olympics, Steph, LeBron, and KD, will more than likely not be on the team come next season. Well, not next season. Next Olympics, 4 years from now. Where does that leave the United States in terms of their basketball program? And yeah, there's some great players coming up through the ranks. We expect Jason Tatum to actually play in the next Olympics. Jaylen Brown should be on the team. Ant-Man should be there. There's a lot of good young talent in the NBA. Booker should be there. Embiid will probably be back. He's not as old as some of the others, but he is up to 30 years old. So he maybe has another Olympic or two under his belt. Maybe not with the U.S., as we've heard the controversy with will he play for the Cambodian team if they make it versus the French team versus the United States. He chose the United States. But where does this put us in 4 years? Well, in 4 years, I don't think that the United States is going to have anywhere near as easy of a time as they did in this year's Olympics. Think about the French national team. Victor Wembanyama is going to be 4 years older. He's going to be 4 years older, which means he's going to be that much better. 3 of the top 6 draft picks in the NBA this year, French national players. So you kind of look at that and you say, okay, the French team is going to be a lot better next year. Is the United States going to be better? And looking at it objectively and just kind of off of who we've had in the past, no, they might not be a better team than they were this year. And that's why I was saying during the entire Olympics, is this team better than the Dream Team? Could this team have beaten the Dream Team? I still think they could have. But, you know, I'm a little younger. I didn't get to grow up watching Michael Jordan play basketball. But what we saw out there throughout the Olympics, these were the best players the United States had to offer. Maybe Jaylen Brown should have been there. Maybe he shouldn't. We can argue that all you want. But in 4 years, when the Olympics are in LA, do I expect the United States to be good? Yes, I do. I think they're going to be really good. Do I expect the United States to win a gold medal? Do I expect it? Yes. Is it going to be harder? The answer is also yes. It's not going to be a cakewalk for them anymore. The world has caught up. And we're going to see it in 2028. Mark my words now. We'll come back here 4 years from now and say, what is the United States doing? Why aren't they winning the gold? And we'll say, well, it's because the rest of the world is getting better. The greatest player on earth right now is not LeBron James. It's Nikola Jokic. And we saw that in the semifinal game where Jokic was one of the best players there. He was so good that the U.S. was double teaming him early, leaving open shooters for the Serbian national team, and they were hitting their shots. And that's why that game was so close. This French team, they didn't go away, not once. They're going to be better in 4 years. So just keep an eye on that. I know we're going to stop talking about the Olympics now as we move on to bigger and better things in the world of sports, but enjoy this one while it lasts because they are not going to come this easy anymore. And the U.S., they very well could get upset in the next Olympic. But we'll see. LeBron's not going to be on that team. Steph Curry's not going to be on that team. It's going to be an interesting one. So we'll talk about that 4 years from now, though, as we move through another Olympics by then. We got to talk about the Winter Olympics first before we even get to the next Summer Olympics. Let's move away from Olympic talk. We're not going into the NFL just yet. We need to talk about the world of NASCAR. And I have a 1 minute race recap from MRN that I would love to be able to play. But I can't. I'm not near the computer right now. I'm here I'm in studio versus in the bullpen. It's an interesting dynamic right now. So we won't hear the 1 minute race recap, but what we will do is talk about this race. And oh my goodness, what a mess. First of all, the option tire was a success. Okay, I think we can all agree that watching the 99 of Daniel Suarez drive from 20th to the lead on a restart was amazing. It was incredible. He grabs the lead on that soft tire. Michael McDowell drove from the back of the field, the lucky dog car, last car on the racetrack, and he drove up to the top 10 on that option tire. So the option tire is a success. Are we going to see it more often? Maybe. Now, I don't know how it would work at another short track like Martinsville. Is the option tire at Martinsville going to be that much of an advantage? I understand why it was an advantage at Richmond. You have very fast corners there. The straightaways are pretty fast. You got hard braking zones, even though you got hard braking zones at Martinsville. The corners are nowhere near as fast. So those higher speed corners for that option tire, it worked well. We are going to see the option tire at short tracks. You got to remember, this is a short track thing in future events. I don't doubt it. The conversation is not about that. It's about what happened at the end of the race. So coming to 2 to go, Austin Dillon. Yes, Austin Dillon is your leader. He is 32nd in the points going into that race, having an absolutely terrible year. And he ran in the top 10, top 5 the entire day. And towards the end, he was the fastest car on the racetrack. Now, I want to kind of break this down for you and go not more of a minute by minute, lap by lap kind of thing to really understand what happened and where the controversy lies. But before we do that, we have to go to our next commercial break. So don't go anywhere. This is going to be a good one. And if you want to call in, 844 Studio 4. We'll be right back. You're listening to The Scoreboard. We're back after this.
Well, partly cloudy skies. We go into the overnight hours. Temperatures will dip down into those upper 60s around the outlying spots and farms, around 70. Most other areas around Lake Norman. Heading into our Tuesday, we do have a chance for some rain. Won't be for everybody, not all the time, but be ready for some scattered showers in the morning and then possibly a scattered shower or two and maybe a thunderstorm in the afternoon. High temperatures for your Tuesday in the low to mid 80s. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Hey, folks, you know Randy Mar-
at YMCA
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we're flying blind today. I mean, I can see what time it is and everything, so that's good. But as far as music, no, you're just going to get me rejoining. We're going to be back here in about 20 seconds. But, phew, what a day. What a day it is. We'll be back. Here we go, guys. Hold on. I guess that works, right? Play the music off the laptop or something? Why not, right? Do what we can here on the scoreboard. 844-STUDIO-4 is the phone number. That's 844-788-3464. Joe Berg here hanging out with you guys. Oh, for the next 25 minutes or so. I got to sit down now. Like, I didn't really have time to set the cameras to allow me to stand. And if I stood, you're just going to kind of see my midsection. I don't think anybody really wants to see that. So I'm going to sit back down. We're talking about the NASCAR Cup Series. Austin Dillon winning the Cookout 400 from Richmond. Lots of controversy surrounding this race. Okay. So as we went to the break, we were talking about what's going on towards the end of the race. Austin Dillon, clearly the fastest car on the racetrack. He caught the 22 of Logano, passed him for second. He caught the 11 of Hamlin, passed him for the lead. You go to the green flag stops. He cycles out back behind these guys again, passes them again, and with about 5 to go, it's looking like this is Austin Dillon's race to lose. 2 to go. Austin Dillon crosses the line. And going into turn 1, there's an accident. Yep, of course. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. involved in an accident. Of course he is. And we got to re-rack the field. Now, I have a problem with the accident. I do. I have a problem with the caution because, first of all, Stenhouse, he was at the tail end of the field, probably lapped down. I really wasn't paying too much attention at that point because I thought the race was over. It's 2 to go. There's no way we're going to get another one of these late race cautions to cause a green-white checkered finish. It seems like every race has had a green-white checkered finish this year. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So Austin Dillon's leader. Denny Hamlin second. They come down pit road. Austin Dillon holds on to the lead. Joey Logano jumps up into second. So coming to the choose cone, the 3 of Austin Dillon, he chose the bottom, the inside line. The 22 of Logano chose the top. And the 11 of Hamlin went behind Austin Dillon on the bottom. Coming to the restart, Austin Dillon does not get a good jump. Joey Logano does, and he clears the 3 of Austin Dillon going into turn 1. I was very surprised that Austin Dillon decided to take the bottom of the racetrack rather than the top of the racetrack, because we saw it on the restart. Logano on the top, he was able to get the runoff of 2, clear Austin Dillon going down the backstretch. Nobody wrecks. We're good. We get to the white flag lap, go through turns 1 and 2, and Joey Logano pulls away a little bit. He does. He gapped the 3 car a little. Going down the backstretch, I'd say Logano had a solid 3 car length lead or so on Austin Dillon. And then it all happened going into turn 3. The 22 of Logano enters the corner normally. Austin Dillon, the 3 car, does not do the same thing. He kamikazed turn 3, drove it in there about as hard as I've ever seen anybody drive a race car into the corner, gets into the back of the 22 of Logano, spins him out, takes him out of contention. And you would think, okay, he did that. Whatever. The 3 is going to win the race now. He just wrecked Logano. I guess nobody's really mad when you wreck Joey Logano. The amount of times we've seen Joey Logano wreck somebody to win a race, man, it's quite a bit. The problem is when Austin Dillon hit Joey Logano, he was entering the corner so fast that he washed up to the middle of the racetrack where Logano was spinning. So the 3 had to slow down a lot. Which allowed the 11 of Denny Hamlin to get underneath him. So Denny Hamlin gets underneath the 3 car. We think, oh my goodness, Denny's going to be handed this victory. Not so fast. Here comes Austin Dillon again, fresh off of wrecking the 22 car. Comes down the racetrack and completely cleans out right rear hook, destroys the 11 of Denny Hamlin. Now, Hamlin ended up finishing second in the race, but that's not the point. The point is, Austin Dillon, in turn 3, wrecked Joey Logano. In turn 4, he wrecked Denny Hamlin, and he gets the win. It was not something that you should be proud of if you're Austin Dillon. And I don't think he was. But NASCAR put him in this position. Let's call it what it is. This isn't Austin Dillon's fault. This isn't Joey Logano's fault. This is NASCAR's fault. You now have a rule that says if you win the race, you are in the playoffs. And Austin Dillon's running 32nd in the points right now. Well, going into the race Sunday. 32nd in points. No shot of making it into the playoffs on points. Austin Dillon had to win the race. Absolutely must win, especially showing how much speed he had throughout the entire race weekend. So because of the rule, and because Austin Dillon was in the best possible spot to get that win, this is the outcome we get. Absolute carnage. Austin Dillon cleaning out Joey Logano, and then cleaning out the 11 of Denny Hamlin. We got a caller into the studio. Let's go ahead and take... Oh, well, wrong line, sorry. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the scoreboard. What do you got for me today?
Oh, hey, just
Caller, you there?
NASCAR talk, and I just figured I'd come chat it up with you.
Sure, yeah. What do you got for me?
I was just wondering how you feel if this is... I was going to ask a question. If you feel like this is a clear distinction of the downfall of the talent behind the wheel in NASCAR today. Do you feel that last night's showing was really the culmination of all of that?
No, I mean, I don't think that the talent is really the problem. I think it's just kind of the way that people have raced over the past few years of not really... If you want to really look at it, it's this car. It's the next-gen car. Because you can beat people up in this thing, and your car is fine. Like, it can take some abuse as long as you don't break the toe link on the car. But I don't think it really necessarily says anything about the talent level of the drivers, because there are some Kyle Larson is still a NASCAR driver, one of the best race car drivers we have ever seen. He can drive anything with wheels. But it's more of the culmination of the rules, the car, the way people have been showing no respect to each other on the racetrack as of late. All of that culminated into Austin Dillon saying, I have to win. The only way that I can win is if I wreck Joey Logano and then I wreck Denny Hamlin. And he got the win. And nothing's going to happen because of this. Maybe Denny Hamlin or maybe Austin Dillon gets a little bit of a fine, but we're not going to see any real punishment for this.
I would completely agree with that. I think that it kind of, to your point, it's just been like a slow burn to get to where we are today. One of the things that it sort of made me flash back just watching it a little bit, and I know that everybody loved this moment, but it had me flashing back to Ross Chastain flooring it through the corner at Martinsville, just passing all of everybody, and they outlawed that after he did that because the field just decided that wasn't a real iteration of what racing is. And I think last night's basically just another perfect example of that. And that's kind of, I don't know, I guess you can call it an opinion, but it just feels like we were just scaling back little by little by little on what is acceptable behind the wheel of a NASCAR race car. I think that some of these guys, I even saw somebody compare Austin Dillon's move to Dale Earnhardt at Bristol. And I just think that is a garbage comparison of one of the best NASCAR drivers ever, and Austin Dillon doesn't belong in the same breath as Big E. That's just one of the things I was thinking about.
You're not wrong about that. Hey, caller, we actually got to go to a commercial break. Do you want to hang tight, talk a little more on the other side?
I think I'm good, Joe. You have a good rest of your show, man. Glad you got your IT stuff figured out.
All right, man. Hey, appreciate you calling in today. We're going to head to our final commercial break of the day. We're not done talking about the NASCAR Cup Series race at Richmond, so stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to continue talking about this. You're listening to The Scoreboard on WSIC.
We do have a chance for some rain. Won't be for everybody, not all the time, but be ready for some scattered showers in the morning and then possibly a scattered shower or two and maybe a thunderstorm in the afternoon. High temperatures for your Tuesday in the low to mid-80s. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Langtree Live in Mooresville continues their free Thursday concert series with the Rocky Lynn Band on August 15th. Rocky brings his original and patriotic country music performance to Langtree Lake Norman off exit 31 from I-77. Grab your lawn chairs, set up your spot on the grass, eat and drink at the restaurants and pubs of Langtree, and enjoy the Rocky Lynn concert Thursday at 7 p.m. RevFast in Mooresville presents Hot Rods and Hops on Friday night. This monthly gathering for the car, truck, and motorcycle communities begins at 6 p.m. Food trucks and Hoptown Brewing will be on hand for eats and drinks. Bring your classic or new hot rod out and come make some new friends. RevFast Detail Shop in Mooresville presents Hot Rods and Hops on Friday night. The Cookout Monster Truck Bash is at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway this Saturday. Sparks will fly as the metal-bashing 2,000 horsepower machines return for a night of high-flying action on the planet's most diabolical outdoor course. Gates open at 4 p.m. Bring a Cookout Cup for a free early access to the pit party beginning at 3:30. Pit party includes monster truck rides, inflatable slides, bounce houses, face painting, an autograph session, and souvenirs. Opening ceremonies will begin at 7. Visit CharlotteMotorspeedway.com or the CMS app for information and details. Ghostface Brewing in Mooresville rocks their parking lot this Sunday with a concert by Black Glass. Waves Entertainment brings their stage and sound to Ghostface for a show by Carolina's premier rock and roll cover band. The brewery will be open to serve their full kitchen and draft beer menus. Rock the Lot begins at 5 p.m. Bring your chairs for a good seat at the 6 p.m. Black Glass concert at Ghostface Brewing in Mooresville this Sunday. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
parents can find a quality classical Christian education at Headwaters Academy. For more information, the phone number is 704-876-1520.
Be a part of the conversation.
We can't fix America's debt by starving its people.
Have your say.
One shooting after another, and we're doing nothing to solve it?
This is WSIC. News, talk, now.
Talk sports with Joe Berg. Call 844-STUDIO-4. It's the Scoreboard on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here on the Scoreboard. Final segment of the day, 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. A little bit weird here going in the studio right now, but I am still alive, still taking phone calls. I did notice a couple of people looked like they were trying to get through on the phone line. I wasn't able to get to you in time, so I encourage you to call back if you want to chat. We're talking NASCAR right now. Phone number, 844-STUDIO-4, 844-788-3464. Austin Dillon wins the Cup Series race at Richmond after a demolition derby, I guess. And I want to use one word here, and that's just disrespectful. I mean, anybody can win a race by driving through somebody. It takes no talent to do that. I, personally, grew up in the era when the bump and run was acceptable. I didn't see a bump and run on Sunday. I saw a driver completely run through somebody and then right hook another driver into the fence. And look, Denny Hamlin's the one who got right hooked. We've seen him get right hooked before. It happened with him and Chase Elliott at Atlanta. Much more dangerous track to be doing that. But a right hook, no matter what the circumstances is, it hurts. We have seen it time and time again. Those are hard impacts to the outside wall when somebody hooks your right rear quarter panel. And that is what Austin Dillon did coming to the checkered flag at Richmond. Completely disregarding any safety whatsoever. Right rear into Denny Hamlin, and Austin Dillon moves on to win the race. Now, I listened to some comments from Elton Sawyer, and I would have loved to be able to bring those onto the show today. Maybe tomorrow when we talk about it, we can bring some audio on. But I don't know if we're going to see any penalties levied against this. He said, and the quote was, it approached the line. Not that it crossed the line, that it approached the line. And he said also that NASCAR is not going to make any decisions until Tuesday. So this is all speculation today until tomorrow. If it were me, if I'm NASCAR, I'm taking the win away from him. I mean, that was just disrespectful. It was an absolutely dirty move. And if you're a fan of it, I'm sorry, but this isn't the place for you. Okay? You should not be doing that. He lost the race, fair and square. We can talk about the green-white checker all we want. Oh my goodness, Ricky Stenhouse, he just wrecked another guy and caused a green-white checker. Okay? It happens. We had a green-white checkered at Richmond in the spring. And who got the bad end on that one? Martin Truex Jr. Denny Hamlin went on to win the race. This week, it was Austin Dillon, but Austin Dillon was having absolutely none of it, and he just wrecks Joey Logano. I hope we see some kind of a penalty handed down, because now we have a precedent to be set. We, at least in the last 15, 20 years, I don't think I have ever seen Carl Edwards did turn Brad Keselowski at the Milwaukee Mile in the Xfinity series pretty bad. No, that wasn't at the Milwaukee Mile. That was at Gateway. Other than that, though, I can't think of a time in recent memory where the guy who goes on to win the race blatantly wrecked the leader on the white flag. I mean, we see it all the time at super speedways. There's wrecks for the lead, but that's a different type of racing. This was a guy just not caring, saying, I'm winning this race. I don't care what I got to do to win the race. I don't care if I got to wreck 2, 3, 4, 5 race cars to do it. I'm winning this race. And that's what he did. He wrecked Joey Logano, who ends up turned around backwards on the outside fence. He turns right into Denny Hamlin and hooks him. And that was a hard hit for Hamlin. That was a very hard hit. There's only so much that I can say about this. And look, the drivers are right. I really appreciated Denny Hamlin's interview. As much as I may rag on him for being an interesting driver and maybe not being my favorite driver, he is a very level-headed, clear-headed, this is what I think person. And we have not seen I haven't seen his podcast quite yet. Actions Detrimental. Well, that was a detrimental action that was just taken on Sunday. That was brutal. So we're gonna probably hear from Denny eventually on his thoughts of this race, and I'm really curious to see what he says because he was right in the thick of it, and he said it during his post-race interview. He was like, "Yeah, that was entertaining. I mean, it stinks that I was one of the 2 guys that got wrecked, but if I was the 3rd guy in the back, I would have found it entertaining, been like, oh my goodness, what happened?" We cannot let this become a normal thing that happens in the NASCAR Cup Series. It can't. And you see it in the Craftsman Truck Series. You see it in the Xfinity Series. Drivers leaning on each other. Everybody's bumping each other out of the way, and nobody's getting reprimanded for this. And it's making its way into the Cup Series. Look, I mean, the 3, we talked about Dale Earnhardt a little bit with a previous caller. Yeah, what he did to Terry Labonte was not great. It was not great. He wrecked him. But it was a different kind of wrecking him. He tried to move him out of the way. And I have no problems with a bump and run. I've said it before. I have no problems with it. If you are close enough to where you just got to give the guy a little nudge and get him up out of the groove, fine. Do it. That's fair to me. Because the other guy would probably do the same thing. There are fenders on these cars for a reason. Bump and run is a term coined by NASCAR because it happens in NASCAR. You just bump into the guy and get him out of your way. And we're okay with that. What we're not okay with is a dump and run. And what we saw on Sunday was an absolute dump and run. It was terrible. Now, was it entertaining? Yeah. Did it get a lot of views on social media? Yeah, it did. Is NASCAR going to take this incident and start promoting it? Probably. The same way they promote the Ross Chastain move at Martinsville while having it banned. The same way that they promote cars going end over end at Daytona and Talladega while also saying we don't want that to happen anymore. You're going to see this in commercials for Richmond. They're going to use this. And young kids who are at their local short tracks who are seeing this, if they see no penalties handed out for this, I don't even want to know what the next generation of driver is going to think is okay and what isn't okay. I don't know what he was thinking, to be honest with you. I mean, I know what he was thinking. He said, I need to win this race. If I don't win this race, I'm not going to make the playoffs. 32nd in points to first. Maybe it's time to get rid of the winning in. And I know NASCAR loves a storyline. They love a good storyline. So a guy winning who's not even close in points to get into the playoffs is something that NASCAR is going to love. They're going to love the attention that this is getting. They probably love that I spent 45 minutes on this topic today. I haven't even had a chance to get into this day in sports history because I'm so agitated with what we saw. All right, let's see if there are a couple of things here on this day in sports history as we come to the end of the program. Katie Ledecky in 2016 set the world record for the 800 meter at the Rio Olympics. 4 gold, 1 silver. She was the most decorated U.S. female athlete at 1 Olympic after that. 2008, Michael Phelps wins his third of 8 gold medals at the Beijing Olympics. Third of 8. Whew. 2007, Tiger Woods wins his fourth PGA championship. That was on this day in 2007. Some other things that happened on this day, a bunch of Hall of Famers inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Harmon Killebrew, Rick Farrell, Don Drysdale, Pee Wee Reese are some of the players that were inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Nolan Ryan struck out 19 batters on this day in 1979. 19. Whew. What a game. That means only 8 people didn't get struck out. But you're never going to see that again. 1964, Mickey Mantle switch hits a home run for the record 10th and final time in a game. 10 times in one game. Well, 10 times he had a game where he hit a home run right-handed, and then he hit a home run left-handed. That's pretty incredible, if you ask me. Those are just some of the things that happened on this day in sports history. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out with me today. I know it was kind of a weird one, weird little flow here. Had some technical difficulties, but we got through it. Don't know how, but we did. We're probably not done talking about the aftermath of this Richmond race. Tomorrow, I am expecting some kind of punishment to be handed down from NASCAR. Points, maybe. You know, you could give him a points penalty, but like whatever. He won the race. He's locked into the playoffs. The only way that you're going to get like real punishment is taking away the win. But I don't think they're going to do that. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in today. I'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. Until then, have a good night, everyone.
Serving you better than ever before. 105.9, 100.7. WSIC, Statesville, Mooresville, North Charlotte.